Did you ever consider a loan move, or did you trust the process that Pep was laying out for you?
I never thought about it, you know.
Good.
I always just see myself as...
Good, he's past this stage now. You're talking about stuff from like years ago.
No, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it.
What difference does it make anyway?
I don't want to think of him thinking of going somewhere else, even on loan.
Oh, right.
You know.
The best, you know.
I like
The
it.
best.
I'm glad to hear.
The official Manchester City podcast. Watch the full video version of this show via City Plus now.
Nadem, Phil Foden, an academy graduate like yourself. For me, probably the most technically gifted player that City have got.
In general, you say?
Well, I would say so. I think we may have players who at the moment are performing to a higher level, but I think in terms of just pure, raw, natural ability, touch, technique, vision, I think he might be the best we've got. What are you looking forward to kind of getting out of Phil in this episode of the Man City podcast?
I think firstly to address it, when I jumped in and I wanted you to explain yourself, I don't necessarily disagree, because I think some of the stuff that he does and the way he does it is very specific to him. Even the way he controls it, the way he runs with it, it's like it's stuck to his foot. And there aren't many players who have that, especially with the dynamism that he has. So I think on the podcast today, just to get to know him a bit more, you know, to put him in an environment where, you know, there is no wrong answer, because it's about your life, it's about you as a person. Because there's no way he's played on the same streets that I did, and I ended up like I did, and he's been one of the best things I've ever seen in the world ever.
Yeah.
Like, he must have been somewhere else. He must have been in a lab, because he's technically amazing. And to know that he supports the football club, the club signed him on, and he made his way through the ranks to be at this point now where he's one of the most successful players ever, let alone at his age. Like, what does that feel like? What does it feel like to be Phil Foden? Is he living the dream? What does he love the most? What does he not like the most, you know? And what does he want from the future when he's already done it all?
What do you think his ceiling is? Because for me, I think they could potentially one day, you know, without heaping too much pressure, there could be a statue of him outside the stadium.
Yeah.
I mean, he's already won so much. Where can he be in 2-3 years' time?
I think if we talk about the club's more recent history, like, he's the most consequential academy player. In fact, since it's been an academy, because I know that because I was the first signing when it became an academy, he's by far the most consequential that the club have ever had. And this is going back to 96, 97, I think it was, when it first started. Phil's the guy. We've had Sean Wright-Phillips and others like Mike Hurston, well, Sean, you know, England international, but no one's been as successful as Phil has. And you think about how young Phil was when he started, all the talk about some people saying he should leave, he should stay, whatever. He's done it. He's England international, multiple league winner, multiple cup winner, starter for right now arguably one of the best teams in the world, if not the best team in the world. He can improve on an individual basis, but the environment that he's in now is the type of thing that, you know, he could have only ever really have dreamt of to be a part of based on his years from watching City. So I think he can continue to get better, can continue to be driven, he can take his game to a whole new level, because, you know, people want to see him inside more. People don't necessarily want to see him out wide. But I think he'll master his craft. And as we look at some of the best players we've seen across the years for City, they've always been a bit older. They're like 26 to like 31, 32. Imagine Phil Foden in that time, with all the experience that he's already had. His ceiling is whatever he wants it to be.
He's going to be in his prime in a few years from now, which is frightening.
Oh,
really.
I don't get me started on that. That is...
Yeah, because he sort of started in playing for the first team in the Centurions year, 2017-18, and then obviously since then he's just been pretty consistent rise, really. When he's been in the first team for that long, sometimes people forget he is an academy product, and it's an amazing vindication of this academy's setup that we've produced a player of that quality.
To put it into context, like, there might not be another Phil Foden that comes out of the academy again, but in the same breath, the fact the academy was good enough to be able to nurture that sort of talent, because not every academy would be in that same position. You know, some academies might not be able to bring out the best in the individual, especially one that might have been as, say, slim as he was when he was younger. You know, find the right position for him, allowing him to be able to develop physically whilst also getting the chance to play. I think all that stuff balances itself out to give yourself the best opportunity. Well, best of all, Phil had something within him that was driving him to be the person that he is today. So I think the academy It's huge. There's so many good players that are in it now, so many good players that have been in it before, and when you see someone like Phil doing what he's doing, he's an inspiration for them, and they can try and walk in his footsteps, try and learn the things that they've learned. And I think it was that game in Switzerland that we went to. I was watching pitch side before the game, and I think it was Micah Hamilton. I think that was his first squad that he was involved in. And he was on the pitch, everyone was doing like the rondos, the keep-ups and the warm-up. But Phil went over to him and Rico and they were doing their thing together. You know, so
he's become a real kind of beacon of the academy for our other academy.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. And, you know, it's good to have not a familiar face, to have someone that's trodden the path that you've trodden before. But it's also Phil Foden. Like, that's the guy. Not only is he from the academy, but he's the guy. And he's come and he understands what it's like to be in your position. That's why he's committed to make sure you're comfortable to give yourself the best opportunity.
He's now a serial winner, 5 Premier League titles. He lit up a Champions League final when he came off the bench. So, right, let's get on with it. So this is the official Manchester City podcast, and our guest today is Phil Foden.
On to Foden! Foden! 6-1! Flag and stay down! VAR are checking, otherwise it's 2 City hat-tricks!
Phil Foden, thank you very much for joining us on the official Manchester City podcast. Let's just start with this season. How do you think things are going? How are you feeling in yourself?
Yeah, I thought we started the season good, and we had a bit of a funny patch, if you like. We changed like a different formation, and it didn't seem to work. But now we're back up and flowing, and what's impressing me at the moment, we're scoring a lot of goals, which is nice to see. It's important, you know, for the attacking players to keep scoring, for the confidence, and for the team as well. So, yeah, it's a step in the right direction, and we want to keep building on this.
When you say attacking players to keep scoring, you talk about yourself. Like, are you someone who's driven by the goals and assists, or is it more so just about playing well?
No, I'm probably playing well is more important. But if you speak to all the attacking players, when you score or do something good like an assist, you know, it just gives you some form of confidence, and going into the next games you're just a lot more confident in a way. So yeah, it's most importantly, playing well is obviously important, but when I'm scoring and assisting, I think the game goes to the next level. I think you can see that.
See, that's why I struggle with. I didn't score enough goals. So I know
that wasn't your job though, was it?
No one ever really saw my next level, but such is life.
What about with Kevin's injury? There's obviously been a bit more of an opportunity. You got a bit more freedom maybe. How's that been for you? Have you enjoyed that?
Yeah, I did. Obviously the manager, I think Newcastle at home, when I started doing it, he let me come inside more and drift inside and find the pockets. And yeah, it's something I enjoyed. I think from a young age, it's where I've always played as well. So I'm used to that position. So yeah, he enjoyed it, but now I seem to be back high and wide on the wing. So you never know with this manager, you know, he always switches it up, and you have to be prepared to play different positions.
Yeah.
Where do you reckon you've played your best football, inside or out wide?
Oh, that's so difficult. I think I play my best football on the right.
Yeah.
Either it coming inside or wide. I just stay up mostly on the right, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think I can do a lot more than on the left. Like, I think that's the same for most attackers. You know, you want to be cutting in on your stronger foot. There's not many players now that play on the same side, if you like. So yeah.
Yeah.
Because do you remember back in the day where it's like a right-footed winger on the right side, get to the byline?
Yeah, you don't really see that now, though, do you? It's changed
completely
massively.
Reverse. Phil, since you got into the team, you've won more trophies than the vast majority of people ever win in their career, and you've still got so much left to go. How do you sum up the journey you've been on since that 2017-18 season where you started to make a few appearances right up to now?
Yeah, it's been a hell of a journey. I think it's so nice, you know, the story that I have, you know, coming from the academy through each age group and progressing into the first team. So yeah, it's a good story, and I've enjoyed every moment, but it's gone so quick. You know, and the old lads always say that to me, like, make sure you make the most of your career now because it goes so quick. So it's something I always focus on, is trying to get the best out of me each day, making every day count, and just trying to improve and want to improve every day.
Would you back that up about a career going quickly?
Yeah, I would do. Although you're 23 now.
Yeah, 23.
Got plenty of time.
You've got time still, yeah? Oh, thank you.
No. Yes, at 23, to have played for as long as you've played, to have won the stuff that you've won and been involved in the things you've been involved in, like, that's genuinely amazing. You know what I mean? But it's the mentality you're talking about wanting to get better every single day, that matters. Because imagine what you'd be like, Rob Pollard, if you'd won anything playing for City. You'd have been a nightmare. But imagine for years and years and years, everything.
It's coming for him, isn't it?
Big time.
Everything. What I like is, for everything that he's won, he's still the same person.
Yeah.
In fact, he'd probably say he's more driven. But, you know, you think it'd be the easiest thing in the world to say, well, I've done enough already. But is that because of your age, or is it because of the surroundings, the manager and the players and
I
stuff?
think it's more on me, but also the manager brings that as well. I think you can see every game he's on the touchline, trying to make us better, improve every player, and that's the mentality we have, and it goes right through the team now. And you can see that we always want to win, even if we're successful this year, we'll want to do it again next year. So that's just the mentality that we have.
Even if we're 5-0 up, the manager can be moaning on the side. Does that get annoying at all?
No, it doesn't. Like, for me, someone like me, I like that. You know,
Yeah.
I like that because I always want to get better and I always want to be told when I'm not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So for someone like me, I don't mind it. I like it, and I think that's how he gets the best out of us, to be honest.
Was it easy when, or Tommy, otherwise, when you were younger and you knew you were good enough to potentially be playing, but you weren't playing as much as, say, you would have liked? Because nationally then, people saying, oh, maybe you should go on loan and so on to get a chance to play football. Was that a tough spell for you, or was it just a case of trusting what the manager was saying?
Yeah, it was really tough because obviously I love playing football, and when you're not playing many minutes, it's so difficult. But, you know, I had a few conversations with the manager and he said, just be patient. Look at the quality that's in front of you. It's so difficult, but, you know, as time goes on, you will get your chance, because the way you train every day and apply yourself is important, and you just have to be ready when injuries happen and things like that, and you get your opportunity, you have to take it. And he started throwing me in massive games. I remember the Tottenham game at home when he started me. It was a shock to me, and I ended up scoring the winning goal. So it's just moments like that he was trying to prepare me for, and I just had to make sure I was ready.
Yeah. So, did you ever consider a loan move, or did you trust the process that Pep was laying out for you?
I never thought about it, you know.
Good.
I always just see myself as...
Good, he's past this stage now. You're talking about stuff from like years ago.
No, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it.
What difference does it make anyway?
I don't want to think of him thinking of going somewhere else, even on loan.
Oh,
you know,
the best, you know.
I like
You're the
it.
best.
I'm glad to hear it.
No, honestly, I just always see myself as a City player. I always just thought if I work hard enough and I know what my ability is about, I can push in the team. And over time, I started getting more minutes, and now I'm probably getting the most minutes I have this year. So yeah, I've worked really hard for it, and I have to thank the manager for that, for trusting me and keeping me around.
You've become a real kind of icon of the academy as well. I think it sent a message to every young player at this football club that they can make it. And I think you were talking before Micah Hamilton, before the game in Switzerland, and they're definitely looking to you. Do you feel that? Do you feel that you've got a duty almost to kind of take them under your wing a little bit when they come, because you were in that position previously?
Yeah, definitely. I think a dream of mine is to try and play with many academy players as possible during the first team. So it's obviously to see Rico and Oscar doing so well as well. So it's good to see. And yeah, Rico's unbelievable for his age. So is Oscar. To see them doing what they're doing now, so good. And yeah, they're going to be important for us. Like I said, when injuries comes, you never know what's going to happen through a long season. They're always there and ready to step up.
Let's talk about both of those individually. We've had them both on the podcast separately, both like really, really amazing guys. Let's start with Rico, because Pep seems to really admire his ability to take information on and play in different positions. There was the game in pre-season where he played high in midfield, was the best player on the pitch. I mean, he just understands football, doesn't he?
18?
Yeah,
it's crazy. For like at 18, I think he's much more alert than I was, of his surroundings and how intelligent he is. It's not normal to find that in an 18-year-old, you know. It normally comes over time, but yeah, he's so intelligent on the pitch, and for the manager to trust him in midfield in these big games just shows that, you know what I mean? So,
and Oscar is a player watched a lot in for the EDS last year in particular. He was absolutely unbelievable. Very kind of naturally gifted footballer. Bit of a street footballer in this. He likes to take players, a bit of a throwback. How much do you like watching him play?
Yeah, I love it. It's similar to me, left foot. He likes to get in the pockets and turn. Yeah, unbelievable player. Every time he's played for us now and come on, he's done well as well. So he's really making an impact. Got an assist the other day, so really happy for him.
Question, I think I've asked something similar to this before, yeah. So imagine a training session, the pitch is 15 by 15 or something, yeah. It's 1 versus 1, 2 goalies are in. It's Rico and Oscar, first to 5, who wins?
Oh, don't know, Bloody hell, that's a difficult question, that.
These are the hard-hitting questions
Oh,
we do
it's
on
not-
this
I don't
official
wanna
Man City podcast.
Disappoint someone, do you know what I mean?
Just say 5-4, just say 5-4 to someone deflected goal winning the fifth. Who is it?
I think Rico just edges it.
Does it?
Sorry, Oscar. He's going to hate me for this. He's going to kill me.
For what reason?
Defenders always
Why
win.
would he edge it? in that?
Defenders
Now you're
always
asking
win.
for a reason.
Defenders always win. That's what you need to know.
Ah.
Defenders always win. Simple.
We have got a few questions from social media that we wanted to ask you. A few fans have sent them in. The first one is, if you had to play alongside one former player from your nation, who would it be and why? So which English player from the past who no longer plays would you love to play with?
Wow, got me thinking. Should have asked this before.
In fact, what position are you playing in this game? To try and figure out who you'd be playing alongside.
Probably in the 10 role, isn't it? So someone behind me who can feed me. Creative player. Difficult when
You've got a rough idea. I think I know which way he's going to go.
I want to hear your opinion.
So you want someone that's defensive. You want a 6 or you want
Just
like
sits
an 8?
behind me who can find me in the pockets.
I think I'm looking possibly at Gerrard.
I was thinking Gerrard or Lampard.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure if you played with Lampard.
No.
Yeah, Lampard, those two.
Yeah, I say Lampard because I love the way he arrived in the box
Yeah.
and scored the goals.
Yeah, I didn't.
It's unbelievable. One of the best I've seen that.
Yeah.
He's always in the right place at the right time. Probably
How
say
did he-
Lampard,
How did he do that?
Loved him as a player.
How did Frank Lampard time his run? Because he had just
I know. I'm acutely aware. The amount of times like you're defending well, then it drops at the edge of the box. And you turn
that
around.
is not by
Yeah,
chance.
people say it's luck, but
No, did it
for
that
him to
many
do it
times?
That many times, I think it's just knowledge in it, knowledge of where the ball's going to be.
It's annoying.
Yeah, it's unreal.
Outside of that year when it's City, so annoying. Like he's lost so many games, the ball's just dropping and it's
and he's just there.
wallop.
Can you coach that, or is that just
I
no?
don't think
Nah,
you
you
can.
could-
It's just in someone.
I think you can do training sessions where you try and time your runs into the box and so on. But some of the runs that he's doing it from deeper, from different
Yeah.
spots. Knowing his teammates, what their tendencies are, knowing where like the forwards run to, where someone else has run
It's
to.
a bit like
It's
Earl,
a
to be
skill.
honest. Compare him to Earl. Like
Yeah.
Earl's the same.
Just
For me,
shout.
he knows where to be every time, where the ball's going to be.
It's instinctive. Yeah.
Which City player currently do you feel you have the best on-field connection with?
That's a difficult one. I think Earl,
Yeah.
Earl or Jack. I think I understand both of their games really well, and I think the link-up play, it just works.
Yeah, I had a feeling you'd say Haaland because
Yeah.
you do. Yeah, you two seem.
Well,
to...
it makes it easy for my job, easy for me when
Yeah.
he's making the runs in behind, and and there's so much space in behind. You just give him the ball in behind, and he's gonna always win it. So he makes my job easier, but
He creates space as well, doesn't he? Because
Yeah,
defenders
yeah.
are scared of him.
because they'll put 2 men on him now, so
Yeah,
that'll free up space for the people in the pockets or even me.
Just sleep altogether. Like I'd never heard him getting called Earl before. That's my big takeaway. No, that's brilliant. That's gonna catch on.
Jeremy, I
like
call
it.
him Jezza now.
Dear.
Yeah, I've always got the
Earl and Jez are up top doing
Yeah,
the things.
that's just
That's
what I do.
awesome.
What have you made of Jezza, as you call him?
Mate,
He is
a player.
He is interesting,
think-
isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's the one that people pay tickets, to go and watch. As
Yeah.
a footballer. He gets people off the chair. So good in 1v1s, so skillful, and he's a player that we don't really have, So he changes the rhythm for us when we need to break down a low block. He's so aggressive with the ball and determined to change the game. So he's someone that we need, and he's going to be really important for us this season, actually, when we come against difficult opponents.
He gives us a different option, doesn't he? Because he has he's got a different dynamic to
He has,
most of the players we've got. Just looking back to last season, obviously the treble, greatest season in the club's history. I've seen some footage from half-time Istanbul where Pep comes in and makes some tactical changes, and actually what he explains happens for Rodri's goal, which just made me think that this guy is an unbelievable genius who can actually visualise what is going to happen. How often does that happen where the manager will say, this is going to happen, or watch out for this, and then it actually happens? How often?
All the time. It's crazy. Honestly, like, we'll have a meeting before the game we're about to play, and he'll tell us what positions to move in and where their defenders are going to be, and it always seems to happen. And, now when we go into a game, it looks like when we do the corner runs and things, it looks easy, but it's because it's drilled into us, and obviously that's what he wants from us. So when we go into the game, it just makes it easier for us to combine and know where to be, and every time it seems to work.
What about the celebrations after Istanbul? What did you guys get up to, and how enjoyable was that? Because that's
it's obviously a moment I'd wish on everyone to have once in a lifetime, that feeling when the whistle went and the celebrations after, back at the hotel with everyone there, your family, and yes, obviously they're moments I'll never forget. It's unbelievable.
There was that amazing footage of you taking Ronnie off the pitch on your shoulders, and then everyone chanting his name. And then as he got in, he was like, Dad, everyone knows my name.
Yeah.
I mean, that must, to be able to share a moment like that with your son, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that, does it?
Definitely. And obviously when he grows up, he's going to look back at them videos as well and see how special them times was. So yeah, to give him that experience is so nice, you know what I mean? So yeah, I hope it motivates him now to be a footballer as well. Have him around the lads in the changing room. So let's see, don't want to put too much pressure on him because he's only 4, but I would like for him to be a footballer, definitely.
And the size of that achievement, winning the treble, do you feel that has sunk in yet, or is that going to take a bit of time for you, do you think?
I don't think it has, it's crazy. Like, from being a ball boy here, for me to be a part of a team that wins a treble, and the first Champions League I just don't think it's going to sink in, honestly. It's once in a lifetime, if you ask me, to do a treble. There's only one team that's done it before, so if we're ever going to do that again, it's going to be so hard. But yeah, we're definitely capable of doing it.
Basically living everyone's dream, from ball boy to...
Listen, I was ball boy as well. I just didn't make it. I just
win
a treble now. Yeah. But I want a derby. Does that count?
You were a bloody good ball boy, though. To be fair,
have you ever fell over doing ball boy?
Nah, I used to be in front of the North Stand, so I was just kneeling down there, and it was all right, and there was not too much drama for me. Everything was fine, so I survived that. That was in Division 2. Made it all the way through, played for his first team, incredible, you know what I mean? Get a chance to play it, to beat teams and all that. And then Phil came and then did that, so now he's the ultimate graduate now.
Did we have multi-ball in those days, or did you have to go and run for the actual ball?
I think I'm running in the North Stand and get a ball from the away fans.
You didn't have another one there ready to go? Or?
I don't know, multi-ball wasn't really a thing back in the day, no, not back in the day. But it's great, yeah, and because it's you're such a big connection to the fans and the football club. So much has changed across the years, but I see someone on the field that represents them, someone who supports the team, someone who's obviously a very, very good player as well. But what are your emotions like? Because in the crowd, even though everything's been really good, there's still this idea of typical City still exists in their mind. And you grew up experiencing typical City to a certain extent. Like in the final in Istanbul, when you're playing, are you confident, or are you clock watching the whole time? Thinking is this ever going to happen?
My reaction when Rodri scores?
No, go on.
Everyone's going on about it. I didn't celebrate. That's just because I didn't think the game was over, and I was like, nah, we have to win. I was just focused on the game. I just walked back and didn't celebrate.
Really?
And everyone was just like, why have you done that? But I was just so focused on getting the job done. I didn't want to celebrate too early, if you like. Do you know what I mean? So if you watch the reaction, you'll be like, wow, what's he doing? But
that's the coolest man ever. So
I just want to get that out there to let everyone know. I just didn't want to over celebrate, and you know what I mean,
just focus on getting over the line. Yeah.
Before I celebrated.
And those last few minutes were
it's a bit shaky, but they're always going to be against when you're in a final. It's you know what I mean, and you give everything. Even I came off the bench, I was gone at the end. I felt cramped just because of how big the game is, and they're always going to have chances.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think our keeper really showed his value there, didn't he?
Definitely.
I mean, he's an amazing goalkeeper anyway, but in a game of that magnitude and to be under the pump like we were for that final period, he was just unbelievable.
It's not going to be easy for a keeper in the final, and you know, at the end, they were lumping balls into the box, but the way Eddie handled it was fantastic. And yeah, he's a vital part of why we won the treble.
Yeah. Do you reckon he could? Because there's a lot made about, you know, Edison could take penalties, Edison could play midfield. Do you reckon he actually could?
I seen him training with the Brazil team in the Rondo. Have you seen that?
No, I've not seen it.
Just playing little round the corners. And
Different now. Rondo's different now.
But I don't know. He's so good with his feet in there, but
Unbelievable.
putting him in a scenario like an 11v11 is obviously different in it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
He took his distribution out from the back. We would be a completely different team, wouldn't we?
yeah, definitely. He's so like, I don't get it. Like, someone will be pressing him very close to him. He's just so calm. I just don't understand that. How you can be so calm, being like the last man, and
Yeah, he's panicked me a few times.
honestly,
I'm not
he's
going to
just
lie.
So calm. He's the calmest man I've ever met. Like on the ball, it's just so relaxed.
That makes a big difference. That I think for the way they're playing, lots of other teams play, like a goalkeeper is part of the build out. It's part of the play.
Yeah.
Whereas from back when, if you gave it to the goalkeeper, so he could kick it 60 yards forward, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's another dimension when you talk about like John going into midfield. You can talk about Edison standing alongside the two centre backs. You know what I mean? As an opposition team, you can't go and press them because it's the goalkeeper.
What do you do?
Because they're just gonna say, all right, I'll just move it here then. You know what I mean? It's one of the many reasons why the teams had the chance to be as successful as they have been over the last few years.
He is the best in the world at that, and he's sure. I don't think there's anybody who can live with him. Yeah.
Definitely.
Even little things like the fact he's left footed just adds to it as well.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like him as well. He might think he's average, this Foden fella, if he was right footed. Because he's left, it looks nicer, doesn't it?
Yeah. He pings some absolute beauties, doesn't he?
Yeah, you could never do that, could you?
Me, no, absolutely not.
I've seen you play before.
Yeah. Yeah, the less said about that, the better. Our success in Istanbul means that we're going to Saudi Arabia to play in the FIFA Club World Cup. First time City have ever been there. Is that a tournament that excites you and a prospect that excites you?
Yeah, definitely. It's new for the club. It's a new experience. It's one that we want to win, to be the first to do it here. It's all about just making history, so it's another thing to add onto the list if we achieve it. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
I'm watching because I looked at there was a stat last night about our record. We haven't been beating the Champions League for a very long time. Whereas previously, I'm not sure City, not just the team, by the way, the whole club, the fan base, everything, didn't necessarily feel comfortable in that competition, whereas now we definitely do.
Yeah.
And obviously we've won it. Do you feel that as a player, that we're a bit more at home there now?
Yeah, definitely. I think when we reached the final against Chelsea and lost, I think that just gave us a lot of belief to go again because we reached the final. So when you play them big games, you just understand how to play them a bit more, if that makes sense. You feel less pressure. You just go in the game more confident and knowing what you need to do. So now we've won it. Hopefully, when we get into the late stages, we can just take that experience and try and do it again.
Talk about the difference then between Porto final in 2021 and this one in 2023. The training sessions the night before, I could feel the nerves in Porto, whereas in Istanbul, it was so relaxed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big difference, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you could see actually from the training, everyone was just laughing and joking. Yeah, that's just the confidence that we have now, not in an arrogant way. I think we just all believe in each other and we're such a good team off the field as well, like good team bonding. I think that's important. So when we go into the field, we know we're going to work for each other and fight for each other. So it's so important to have this, and I think that's what gives us that edge over other teams.
And this year's final is at Wembley. You know, as an England man, what would that mean to you to play in that, if we can get
that
there?
That would be nice. Try not to think about it because it's a long way, but
Yeah.
obviously for it to be at Wembley is, so good. Let's hope we can reach it.
What do you think?
Fingers crossed.
About what?
City, Champions League.
About what?
Champions League
Not
final,
listening.
Wembley. Can we do it again? Can we do it again?
I think, of course, they can do it again.
Yeah.
But lots of other teams have the same belief and the same desire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Step one is getting out of the group. The guys have done that. But then what comes next? You need a bit of good fortune, good performances. Exactly. Because for years, it felt like City have been one of the best, say, one or two teams in Europe, but they've not necessarily had their reward there. So you do need good fortune. That's the difficulty of playing in the Champions League. But anything's possible. And it could be, could be another iconic season. Who knows? But the fact is, they're going to be contending, trying to protect every trophy they've won so far.
Yeah.
And then for this young fella as well, there's Euros in the summer, which we'll hopefully get in the squad for. Maybe he can break that duck as well for England.
Absolutely. That would be unbelievable. Phil Foden, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Cheers.
Walker's round the back, lays it off, Foden hits it. That is a quite magnificent goal. Walker burst clear of the last defender, helped it back to Phil Foden, and Foden clobbered it left-footed into the corner of the net.
Phil Foden there. What did you think of that one, Naden?
Yeah, he's a classy individual, isn't he? Such a good player, and to get a chance to sort of listen to him speak about, football, his role within, say, being a pillar for, the academy, being a beacon. He's great. He's exactly who you'd hope he would be, and I think he does represent the club and the people of this city to the highest order. I love Phil. He's the guy. When
you see how far he's come in a relatively short space of time, if he was to do the same jump again over the next 5-6 years, we could be looking at, a really, really special player, couldn't we?
Yeah, 100%. I think when you see him at his best, you consider him to be one of the best players in the world. And I think in the future, if he continues to improve, he won't be subjective. People will talk about him in the same way they talk about other players from some of the other more significant clubs around the world. So he's great, and you can see that he's got the ingredients to be able to be there. This is somebody that's desperate to get better, someone that's desperate to play, and someone that's desperate to win. Add that into the ability that he already has, and I can't imagine him heading any other way apart from up.
Yeah, his answer on Rico and Oscar was lovely, wasn't it? Because he does clearly see himself now as, he's not an elder statesman, but somebody who's a bit more senior and already kind of ingratiated into the squad and embedded. So he's now looking out for those other guys, which is just great, isn't it?
He sees his experience more so than he sees his age, because you're older than me, aren't you? Just a little bit by a fraction.
How old are you?
So we're late 30s.
We're both in our 30s.
We're both in our 30s.
That's the.
And to listen to a 23-year-old be shocked by someone playing well at 18 is quite funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for him, it makes sense because him being 18 and playing for the team is a long time ago in the grand scheme of football.
Yeah.
But I love that. Like, he's acutely aware of his passage and how significant it is and what it means to the academy, what it means to all the boys that are in the academy now, whether they're like 7, 8, 9 years of age, and not just boys, could be girls as well, 7, 8, 9 years of age, or people who were on the verge of training with the first team. I think brilliant individual, and he made for a fantastic interview as well.
I honestly can't wait for 5 years' time when we're sat with him again, and maybe we listen.
You think we'll get access in 5 years when he's like winning Ballon d'Ors and all that?
I hope so. and we look back on kind of what he said today, and we just see where he's at that moment in time. Because for me, it's limitless potential with him, isn't it? Because he's just technically so good.
Yeah, he's one of the best football clubs in the world, one of the best managers, some of the best players, and he's self-driven, self-motivated as well. Yeah. Like, the way he is today, he will only get better from this point, and hopefully we do have access in 5 years' time, because he's definitely someone that could again be part of the blueprint, or like as an idea of what it's like to be a professional, what it's like to be driven, to be the best. I know everyone will be the best we can aspire to be, and I'm sure he'll be up there in those years.
I enjoyed the question we got from our listeners on social media as well, so I want to encourage the listeners to the official Man City podcast. If you've got any questions for our guests, you've got any suggestions for guests you want to see, please do get in touch with us, and don't forget to like and subscribe wherever it is you do your podcast listening. And until next time, take care of one another, and we will see you soon.
The unbeatable official Manchester City podcast. Watch the full video version of this show via City Plus now.